8th graders, if you guys are watching this video, you guys should be the green group. If you guys are not really sure whether or not you guys are the green group, go down to slide 3 and follow that link into Amplify, and it will tell you guys which group you guys are. If you're not the green group, go figure out which group you're in and go watch that video instead. All right, so you guys are my green group. Your guys is learning targets for the 2.5 force and motion lesson, or I can explain how forces exerted in a combination of directions can cause an object to move diagonally. So really that's going to be a big part of your guys' focus, is doing combined forces to get objects to move in ways that we haven't looked at yet in this unit. Okay, so to start off, you guys should have already completed your warm-up on slide 2. So what you guys saw is you have 3 little pictures here showing this little guy doing different, exerting different forces on little carts and how they're moving. Okay, so you guys can see it kind of moving in. You guys can see how he applies the force, and then you guys can see the movement after. Okay, so what you guys are looking at is these 3 key concepts, and you guys are going to click and drag to match those 3 key concepts to the correct image. So first key concept you're looking at, if the same strength force is exerted on 2 objects, but the objects have different masses, the objects with less mass will have a greater change in velocity. Your second key concept, a stronger force can cause a greater change in velocity. And key concept, the third one, how an object changes velocity depends on the direction of the force exerted on that object. So again, you guys are looking kind of at a little before situation during the force, and then what happens after for 2 different little carts. So you guys can see the difference in those carts. Okay, once you guys have that done, again, you guys should have already gone to slide 3 and kind of checked out where you guys are. When you guys right-click this link here, it should have taken you into a page that looks like this, green group. That's all you guys need that for. You guys don't need to use it for anything else. So once you're done confirming that you are green group, you can go ahead and exit out of it. For today, this is obviously a pretty big assignment, but because you guys are the green group, you guys are only completing a fraction of that. So you guys will complete slides 16 through 26, and then of course the warm-up on slide 2. Okay, before you move on though, you guys need to take your draw tool and circle that you guys are the green group, so I know what I'm grading for you guys, so please make sure you guys do that. All right, let's go ahead, let's bounce down to slide 16. We're going to complete, again, only slides 16 through, I think, 26. Okay, all right, so you guys will be working in the sim. You guys have 2 parts to complete in this sim. Your first part, again, when it refers to your guys' student sheet, that's all in the slides. Don't worry about that. Okay, work with a partner. You guys will be working by yourselves to conduct a series of missions in the force and motion simulation where the object will be to reach targets by exerting forces in different directions. You will need to plan the forces in advance, both the direction and the strength. Predict what will happen by responding to the questions on your student sheet. Follow the instructions for each test. Again, your student sheet is just your guys' slides. And respond to the questions under part 1 apply. When part 1 is complete, move on to part 2. So here's your guys' link for your simulation there. You can go ahead and open it up. For part 1, you guys are going to first make a prediction. An object is moving diagonally down and to the left. You want it to stop moving. What is the direction or directions that you should exert a force to get the object to stop? So think about the different combinations of directions that you guys would have to exert. There isn't a diagonal direction, so you guys would probably need to talk about 2 different directions there. So give me your prediction and explain your answer. Okay, and then once you guys have that figured out, you can go ahead and go on to part 1 test. There are 4 missions in this part, and each mission has 2 tasks. So select the 2.5 green mission number 1 from the Force and Motion Sim menu and read the mission prompt that describes both tasks. So I'm going to go ahead, click up here. I'm going to go to 2.5. You guys are my green group, so mission 1. And you guys can see here's your task right here. Make an object reach the target using multiple horizontal and vertical forces. Then achieve the same goal by exerting a single diagonal force. Okay, so you guys would probably, for the first part of this task, have to get it to hit that goal by adding a horizontal one, preparing another force, and then adding a vertical one. So you guys would take it up and then to the right. Your second time you guys do this, you're going to prepare just 1 force to make it go diagonal. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. The first time you guys do this, you're going to make it want to travel either to the left and then up to your target, or to the up and then to the right towards your target. And then the second time you do it, you want to make it go diagonal to your target. Okay, so that's your guys' first one there. Think about and they should help each other out. So if you guys figure out how many clicks to get it to move to the right and then how many clicks to get it to move to the up, see how you can apply that information to get it to move diagonally to your target. Okay, so task 1 asks you to use multiple forces to achieve a goal, and task 2 asks you to achieve the same goal but using a single force. So again, you're making it move diagonally. Okay, so press run and attempt task 1. Observe the object. Did it reach its target? If yes, press reset and then make it move diagonal to task 2. If not, press reset and try again with different forces of different strengths and direction. For task 2, you guys are going to press run and prepare the force, set up a single force and test your results. Use the force panel to set up the force directions and strengths. Press exert force, observe the object. Did it reach the target moving diagonally? If yes, go on to your next mission. So you guys will go through those 4 different missions, and then you guys are going to respond to this question. Okay, so here's your guys' other 4 missions. So again, first part of this, make it either move up and to the right or make it move to the right and then up in 2 different forces. Okay, and then the second part of this task is to make it move directly from here to here, okay, using only 1 force. So multiple force for the first part, 1 force for the diagonal part. Then you guys would go on to sim mission 2. Same thing there, except you guys are making it move a different direction. So for the first part, you're either going to make it go left and then down, or down and then left using 2 different forces or more. And then you guys are going to make it go directly from here diagonally into its target. Again, once you guys get done with that, you'll move on to sim mission 3. And same thing for sim mission 4. Okay? Once you guys have that, an object is moving to the right. Instead, you want it to move up, but not in the diagonal direction. In what direction or directions should you exert a force to get the object to move upward? That being said, if you don't know the answer to this, go into the sim, test this out, set up this scenario. Okay, moving on to part 2, conduct a series of missions in the force and motion simulation to make objects with different masses change velocity in a specific way. The challenge will be to exert a force only 1 time and have it cause the velocity change you want. So what direction and what strength force will it be? So this is a little bit of a review onto mass. Follow the instructions for each test, respond to the question on a part 2, explain, and then answer your reflection questions. So here's part 2. Complete 4 missions, 2.5 green, 2.5 mission 6, mission 7, mission 8. So you guys will go in here, 2.5, mission 5, 6, 7, 8. So you guys are doing those ones. Ooh, look at how tricky those are. So you guys have this little area. You need to make it reach the target without touching the walls. Okay, so press run, use the force panel to get the object moving. Did it reach the target without touching the walls? If yes, go on to the next mission. So for this one, you guys are probably going to need to pause it and use different forces. So I'll let you guys kind of figure that, where to pause it and how to get those forces. Okay. After mission 8, respond to part 2, explain. 2 objects are moving downward at a speed of 3 centimeters per second. Object A has a mass of 2 kilograms. Object B has a mass of 1 kilogram. You want both objects to move to the left at a speed of 3 centimeters per second. Hint, if you get stuck or want to check your ideas, test them in the sim. In what direction or directions should you exert the forces that will make the desired change? And describe what strength, force, or forces would be needed to cause a desired velocity change. Okay, make object A and object B move to the left at 3 centimeters per second. Okay, finally, your reflection questions. Describe the directions. So you guys have this little maze to go through. Describe the direction of forces you would exert in the sim to make the object reach the target without touching any of the walls. Ignore the little orange object part. Use only up, down, left, and right. So if you guys need to, use your draw tool to kind of point out, all right, I'd stop it here, I'd point, do this direction. You guys can kind of connect some answers there. Explain your reasoning. When would you exert these forces? So again, you guys might want to mark on there with your draw tool when you might exert these forces and why you would exert them then. Okay, at this point, you guys should be able to answer this question because you guys have gone through and you've done sim missions 5, sim mission 6, sim mission 7, and sim mission 8, which is all very similar to those. Okay, and then finally, your guys' last little step is to read this little message. So in chapter 2, we really looked at different masses of objects and how if we apply the same force to those masses, how they would respond differently or have different velocity changes. One of the things we looked at in 2.3 was modeling the different masses that the two pods or the pod could potentially be to cause either the pod to turn around and move in the opposite direction like in claim 1, or with claim 2 it didn't stop, it slowed down though, kept moving, and eventually it hit the space station. So what we find out in this little message is that the mass of the pod is 1,100 kilograms, and that's 130 kilograms more than usual. So if you guys are looking at your two claims, would that be claim 1, where it just turns around and moves in the opposite direction when the thrusters delivered their same strength force? Or would it be claim 2, where the object didn't stop, slowed down a little bit, but eventually it hit the space station? So we hope that data will help you guys explain the pod's motion. So we'll look at that a little bit more in Chapter 3. And what you guys will see is that claim 2 is correct because that pod is a little bit heavier than normal. The thrusters fired like they normally do, but it only slowed the pod down. That pod's eventually going to hit the space station. So what we're going to focus on in Chapter 3 is that collision between the space station and the pod. Okay? Finally, do your wrap-up. Do you have any questions? Circle yes or no. If you have questions, write them right here. If not, move on. 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you think you did? Great job. You guys are all done with this. You guys are ending on slide 26, so that's all you need to do for this assignment aside from the warm-up. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.